Hello. It should be fixed now. Best laid plans, etc. Give me 1 second. Just let me. It's not gone great, has it? It hasn't gone well today. That's the nature of live streaming. Okay, I figured out what the problem was, which was that every time, when I'm doing the interview, the crypto podcast with Sam, I use a browser and I set my monitor, my OBS audio to monitor only so that it works and doesn't interfere, because I can't speak while my own voice goes into my headphones as it does my head in. I could never be on Rogan with those fucking headphones like that. Oh yeah, that's a real problem Taya's going to have. Yeah, good luck with that. But those things with like headphones on while you're talking and you're hearing yourself in the headphones, does my head in. Anyway, so I turn that off and forget about it, and it shows on the monitor that everything's fine, but it's fixed. So I apologize. Also, I don't look so good, but that's okay. You don't judge me for that. The only people that seem to care, well, there we go. That leads into the upside down world. But the people who seem highly invested in my appearance and well-being and follow account and likes are the people who hate my guts. It's nice that they could, have concerns. That's great. You're welcome. But I don't give a fuck. So, whatever. I'm not sure if people are watching or have found me. I should probably tweet the link. 1 second. 1 second. Let me know if you're there. Yeah, there's one Periscope. Okay, so we probably need to find the link. Oh, no. There we go. People are finding me now. I'm back. Didn't tweet out the YouTube link, though. Anyway. So. Okay, so Di's back. People will find their way back. Let people know. I couldn't quite... I know Shannon was there and I know a few others, but let people know. Okay, people are wandering back in. Okay, so let's do this thing. 1 sec. Let me just close that off and get that back. Okay, I'm sitting relaxed today. Couldn't be fucked ironing my shirt. It's going to bug you the whole stream. It's going to bug you. Thought I'd sit back and relax. Try a different fucking framing. Doesn't look so good, but whatever. Got to fix the lighting. Matthew's here. Yay. Hello. Okay. I apologize for my appearance. I'm not feeling very well, and it shows in my face. Even my doctor. I'll tell you what. If you walk into a GP's office and the doctor goes, "You look like shit," generally that means you're not looking so good. So it's pretty funny. You didn't say shit. You said you're not looking so good. Pretty funny. Anyway, I'm quite tired. So we're in the upside down world. I realised this. This is the nature of, the propaganda and the nudging and the general gradual creep that we are subjected to on a daily basis. When you just sit and you make a list of things that are now true, that have gradually, they just all converge into a list of things that are now true. And you go, how the fuck did that happen? But it's all just, bit by bit over, we're friends here. You've been around. You know what I'm saying is that over about 80 years, the force that shall not be named has gradually just brainwashed us into thinking that certain things are true. Right? And I think that if anything, 2021 may be the year where we start to go, hey, hang on, maybe that's not true. Maybe this is propaganda. Maybe this is dark propaganda. Maybe there's all these people that are claiming to be the left that aren't the left, and they're just actually fascists. That, that thing where it's like, they're behaving like fascists. They're doing things that fascists do. Like, even, like the history, people don't know this about like the rise of fascism in both Italy and Germany, which was that fascism as a movement, a political movement, characterized itself as like the third way. between capitalism and socialism. Now, I don't know if you're aware. But Tony Blair and Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton and all those fucks decided, and Mark Latham, right, was a big advocate of the third way when I was a student politician. It was like the book of fucking everyone. And I remember when this happened, actually, because I went to uni and I studied politics. And, I consider myself pretty well versed in Marx. Like, Marxist analysis was foundational to most of what I did. And I kind of lost my way. Again, I'm a victim of this creep, which is that, eventually, at some point when I was at university, something happened where I was told that Marxism or socialism didn't work. And what I was given was a book that was more like, working class kid. I grew up in extreme poverty, like alongside like Aboriginal kids, Indigenous kids. I then, studied politics, became a welfare worker. I know what poverty, and I have true class consciousness. I know what fucking working class looks like, okay? Now, and at some point in my activism, I understand what happened, which was that in my involvement in the Labor Party, at some point people started talking about this new third way, the third way. And it was just very weird because, everyone was talking about the third way, the compromise between socialism and capitalism. And then I was reading this thing about fascism. I can't remember it could have just been like Wikipedia. I can't remember, but I was sort of refreshing myself on fascism, because you can't go around with a hypothesis that the US is falling into fascism without really bringing your game, without bringing your theory and, comparing it. And I was reading it and it said that fascism presented itself as a third way. And I was like, oh, well, that's fucking interesting, isn't it? Isn't that fascinating? That you compromise your way into fascism. Like, there's no actual, and that's the thing. That was the thing about fascism that's really interesting ideologically, okay, as an ideology, okay, and as the initial movement, right? That always, the path to hell's paved with good intentions. I would say that the path to hell is paved with compromise, right? I honestly believe that compromise rather than good intentions are actually where we get misled, which is that we keep compromising. And this leads to welcome to the upside down world, because we find ourselves in a place where we've compromised piece by piece, bit by bit. And this happened to me over the years as well. And this is, this is not just like yes, I try to be funny about it and I'll go through a list of things that are fucking true and we'll laugh and stuff. But there's a personal creep that happens here. And I used to call it, when I was in business, I've always, I haven't had time to write, but one of the things that I've got written down as a blog post to write at some point is this notion of the credibility carrot. Now, this happened in my career. I call it the credibility carrot. It's carrot and stick. And this happened to me over a period of 20 years, okay? And what it took was me being beaten around the head by a socialist mate of mine, Helen Razor. She's a well-known journalist and media person, and she's like full-on socialist. And she whacked me and reminded me that I'd actually lost myself. And I got back to Marxism, and I realized that over time, like through student politics, through being in the business world, through the public service, through the Labor Party, over time, it was never, Marxism always just sat there as, a framework for analysis and true. But I was told this big lie that socialism just doesn't work. And that's where I was told that. And, obviously I know the geopolitics and all that stuff. But I just kind of, this thing about compromising, this compromise, where you kind of just give a little. You give that little bit to go, okay, well, I accept that socialism doesn't work. I mean, yes, that's true. But what they don't tell you is how socialism has been sabotaged over the years by, neoliberalism, how the third way was designed, came out of Bill Clinton and Tony Blair gaslighting the left into thinking that there was some sort of compromise between socialism and capitalism that wasn't, Keynesian economics is one compromise. But the third way is neoliberal, right? That's different, okay? That's not Keynesian economics. And the thing is that I understand that creep because I literally studied politics, and it happened to me because it appealed. What this introduction of sort of the third way did, right, was that it's rational enough. Okay, it's rational enough. You can rationalize a lot of the things that you see. The third, we just need to fight for that. And you see this happening to AOC as well. You see this happen to every progressive that enters politics. And it happened to me. And then I realized, I think that I'm just someone who is more, I guess, I wouldn't say I'm more principled, because obviously I was able to, lose my way as well. But I'm saying that the thing that the third way does to someone who would ordinarily be revolutionary, which I am. I grew up fucking in poverty. I grew up as a worker on the fucking ground. I was a worker on the ground. I saw every day the suffering of like government policy and the legacy of the stolen generation, and I saw all of these things. And I also, because I saw it, I think rationalizing a lot of the truth. Okay, I think for liberal feminists, a lot of it is you want the comfortable, the comforting lie, right? That Plato's talked, I don't know, can't remember what the word is, but Plato's talked about this, the self-deception, right, that happens, which is that when you're faced with atrocity, you don't want to face it. You want to go, this is called normalcy bias and a number of other things, right? It's a cognitive bias. It's human nature to do this, which is I want to escape a world where, escape the reality of the misogyny that we're facing, right? I want to escape the world where the United States has declared war on everybody in the world that doesn't do what they want them to do. I don't like that reality. I don't like the idea, it hurts, the idea that I was born like gifted and as a genius child and not given the resources, and that I was told that if I worked really hard and, went to university and, then got masters and then went and got a job and then ran a business and did the right pitch deck and said the right things and made all the right moves, that I would be invited into a club or that I would succeed. I know that's bullshit, and I think that that's painful for people. Okay, I had an interaction today with a client. Like, this is why I love my clients, right? Because my clients love I'm honest, right? And I think that I was in a position where I had referred someone to them, and then they kind of shopped around after I'd done a lot of work and all that sort of stuff. And I just wrote an email and said, "You guys fucking stop it." Right? Not many people can do that. Okay. I have this ability to, but most people are afraid to do that because they've got a different mindset where they're scared to push back, scared to tell the truth. And this happens over a period of, it happens bit by bit is my point. And I wandered off. But this is how we get to the upside down world. Okay. This is how we get, it's not, this is why when we have these horrible, I've been on the receiving end of a fucking dog pile today. Okay. Not today, this week. With a bunch of fucking the pronoun people. But I think that this is where you have to be, I've roasted the shit out of them. Because it's funny. And it's fun, you need an outlet. You need to just straw man this stuff every so often because See, this is where my conflict is, which is that I try to be funny and charitable, and sometimes those things are incompatible. You need to be allowed to straw man in comedy. You need to be able to build this giant fucking man of straw and tear it down. That's what comedy is. Unfortunately, those things are in conflict, but, people are used to me by now. But generally, when there's a human in front of me and I'm, being a fuckhead, and they're being a fuckhead, I tend to understand where they're coming from, okay? Yeah, the pronoun people. Fucking pronouns people. Right? Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm non-binary, so anything I say, you can't touch me. It's true. I'm non-binary. You can't prove anything. Don't need to do anything other than just say I am. So I'm non-binary. I get to trend on Twitter now. Watch my fucking, look at me. Zero effort fame. It's brilliant. Anyway, that was funny actually. So that was actually really funny if I digress, which was, I got a bunch of them going, oh, she's only got this number of likes on the post. And then it like went up to mysterious. I don't know how this happened. It was just a mystery. It's not like, I don't know how the system works. It's just a mystery. Someone must have bought likes on it or something. I don't know what happened, but suddenly it went up 300 likes. I don't know how that happened. It's like someone must have done that. That's why you don't put your self-esteem in likes. It's bullshit. It's why you don't care what other people think of you. It's why you just make sure that you stay principled and tell the truth, because this comes back to the story that I started in university, which was that I was told a lie, a big lie early on, which is that you've got to compromise. Okay. Oh, there's a compromise to be had. Don't tell the truth. What you need to do to succeed is soften the edges. Okay. That credibility carrot where people where to get that job, you need to just fudge your resume a little bit, pad it out a bit. Make sure you get a credible reference. Okay. Or make sure that you just sort of gear your resume specifically to please that specific HR fuckhead who you were smarter than at uni. Okay, who's who's coasted through life with conforming, done nothing brave in their entire life, and somehow you're finding yourself having to twist everything that you are to please this fucking idiot. Okay, now people who follow me are generally pretty bright, generally pretty different thinkers. You get what I'm about. If I can give any young person any advice, it is that advice is bullshit, and that you should just know that we live in a system that is, you got to eat. People got to eat, but that's the weapon. That's the trick, is that you can make, this is why I do what I do, which is that, when I talk about the original internet, what I'm talking about is people's ability to make money as themselves and be themselves and not have to fucking get their soul inched away bit by bit, like I see happen over and over and over again to not only artists, but to musicians, to like anyone who wants to do anything fucking good, even politics. Oh, it doesn't work. You just got to compromise a little bit. You're seeing it happen to AOC. You're seeing it happen. You start out progressive, right? You start out like with every intention, and the powers that be say, hey, there's a third way. Guess who else presented a third? Because I think that is actually the initial creep. That is the creep of fascism, okay? And I've been doing a lot of, I know I sound insane, but fuck it. But again, I'm studying psychology, and I think when you look at psychology, having studied politics, I've talked about this before. When you study psychology, I'm doing grad psychology. Worked in user experience, started in politics, forever. Those that are new, started in politics, then worked in welfare, went, fuck this shit, I can't do anything, moved into digital because I rode the internet wave because I'm Gen X. And there was no degree in internet when I was fucking at uni, into UX and digital, leading an agency, running projects, everything. I can do everything from design to code to write copy. I can do SEO, everything. Okay. All of digital. And now at the end, in my 40s, finally studying, the theory of psychology rather than working in applied psychology. And so, these things are all intersecting. But when you go into psychology as, an older person, especially as a feminist, as a Marxist, as someone who's questioning imperialism, and you see how dominant these messages are around, with America and, all of these things. There's a new way. And they just take these things for granted. Oh, socialism doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work, because every time a socialist government actually tries to be socialist, the Americans undermine them. They send they send insurgents. They take over the left. They implant themselves on the left to try and they've just got to make sure that American interests at all times. And that's why they fucking hate China, right? The more that I'm reading about this Wigan thing, the more that I think that's bullshit. I think that's just another insurgent thing from the CIA. Again, I'm suspending disbelief. No country is without blood. I'm just saying we need to point out. So this is going to lead to upside down world, okay? But upside down world is just a gradual thing, okay? It's not something where suddenly people go, oh, it's opposite day. When you're a kid, you go, oh, it's an opposite day. Oh, okay, everything's up is down and down is up. That has to be something. It's gaslighting, right? It's mass gaslighting. So if people don't know what gaslighting is, it comes from a movie, Gaslight, which is where basically the husband was a murderer, right? And he basically and the wife was, I can't remember, but the wife cottoned on to what he was doing. So what he would do is gradually turn up the light and just convince her that she was crazy when, she's like, is the light a bit brighter or down or whatever? I can't remember. Fucking good job, Taya. Explain gaslighting, forget about it, whatever. You get my point. Making you feel like you're crazy because you're pointing out someone else's behavior, truthfully. Okay. So Matthew said, Americans think that the ideological and language arbiters of the world, others just have to fall into line. Yeah, and this comes back to a little bit of history. The manifest destiny, okay, that America believes, like it's literally, just written that they are they're on a mission from God. Quote the Blues Brothers, they're on a mission from God. They believe that they are God's chosen people. See, that's the problem, is everyone thinks they're God's the person who doesn't exist, chosen. Isn't that an odd way to build a world? Isn't that odd? Isn't that odd? It's an interesting. Oh, why don't we ask God what he thinks? Sorry about my hair, it's shit. Why don't we, we're in charge. God said so. Oh, well, where is he? Can you ask him? Can we call him? I think we should, before we build a country and, all of our systems and, our language and values and everything on this thing, I'd like to know what this guy is. I think we should, I'm a fan of primary sources and I don't entirely trust your fucking agenda. So why don't we call God and ask him? Oh, I haven't, doesn't exist. What? No, he totally exists. He said so. He spoke to me and we wrote it down and I wrote it down for him. He spoke to me and he said that America is in charge. I'll tell him, why don't you fill out a thing on his contact form on his website and ask him and he'll get back to you, okay? I promise. Fucking, how many years later? Here we are, still waiting for the man to show up and prove it, okay? Fuckheads. Again, I'm not saying whether you believe it or not is valid. I'm not going to get into that debate. That's a matter of belief. But you can't run society based on something that is not provable. Okay, so all those right-wingers who sit around talking about fucking follow the science and the evidence and then it's inconsistent. It's upside down world. Okay, which is where basically, again, this happens gradually, piece by piece by piece, nudge by nudge, from when you're born, where people give you all the fucking Bible stories and tell you about God. And then you get to the age of fucking 8 and you go, what the fuck? Where's God? Why am I getting in trouble because of God? What did I do? I didn't do fuck all. Hang on. What? Why am I in trouble for some dude who fucking died? I don't know what's going on. I'm 8. What you're telling me is bullshit. And you watch your family go crazy, because I used to have like Christian family who like speak in tongues and shit. Like my mum went full Christian for a while and it was fucking scary. She thought she was seeing demons in the back seat with me and my sister. Fucking, Jesus fucking Christ. She saw demons like these dumb fucking woke fucks see Nazis, not realising that they're the Nazis. It's fucking scary. It's chilling. Anyway, let's move the camera back a bit because I want to sit forward. Just ranting a bit. Let me move the mic. But like, seriously. Anyway, upside down world. You don't just suddenly switch to upside down world. You just end up there. And that's what I wanted to talk about with fascism being, well, it's the most extreme example of upside down world. These are the things that are true in 2021. Tell me if it sounds too loud, okay, or maxing out or whatever. I think that the microphone, the way that the condenser, the dynamic, whatever one. The one that the one that's not a fucking omnidirectional fucking thing. I think it's got a good comedic effect. I've had feedback from people that they can't listen because the sound fluctuates too much for people with hearing problems. I apologize. I'm going to get a decent omnidirectional mic that's USB because anyway. But here's the things that are fucking suddenly true, but they were gradual, okay? In 2021, okay? 1, we hate everyone who covers their face because they might be a terrorist. We don't, obviously. I think that's a bad idea. I'm saying these are the things that just suddenly became not true. Okay? We shouldn't trust those people. They can't go to the beach and observe their religion, even if we think it's bullshit, even if religion's bullshit. Okay? I think that people are pointing to something that's mighty convenient and someone who's not there. I've done that. I go, oh yeah, someone who's not in the room, you said, oh yeah, they said that fucking thing. Get out of trouble. Good move. Let's just assume religion's bullshit. You're free to believe what you believe, but I think religion's bullshit. Anyway, I think people need something to hang on to. I respect your beliefs, but I think it's bullshit. And I question your judgment, okay? Okay, let me clarify. If someone watches this and gets mad, I don't give a fuck. Also, this is just riffing and comedy. I say stupid things all the time. So, I fucking roasted the CIA for an hour 2 weeks ago. You think I'm worried? I'm not. You think I'm cool? Again, this is the line between charity and fucking joking around. I think that people need religion. I believe that something that gives you comfort in the current system. I believe that Marx, quote, saying that, religion is again, paraphrased quote, religion is the opiate of the masses. I truly believe that. And I believe that in this system, that is the case. And I empathize with you needing that belief. That said, I believe that, people believe all sorts of crazy things and that's okay. What gives them comfort? So if I'm mocking your religion, relax, okay? It's not a fucking slight on you or your beliefs. I think that all this bullshit, anyway, I'll continue. I just wanted to clarify that, okay? I grew up with a religious family who I love and I think are nuts for believing it, but I still think they're good people and I think people are just trying to get through a shitty fucking life, a shitty existence, okay? And again, but socialism doesn't work. Religion's the way. It's working well in fucking, Israel and Palestine right now, isn't it? Anyway, we'll move on. We'll get to that. So one truth. What was the first one? Oh, yeah. People who cover their faces are not to be trusted. And they might be a terrorist. And then 2020 hits. And everyone must cover. So we're, groomed. Okay? We're groomed. Again, I'm saying bit by bit, this is how Westerners, okay, are programmed by the media to say, okay, people who wear masks or people who cover their faces, take off your helmet at the fucking petrol station because you might be a robber. And then all of a sudden, within a matter of days, everyone must cover their face willingly. And if you express fear or discomfort or being unnerved by the fact that everyone around you is fucking covering their faces, even though we've programmed you into that for fucking all of your life, you might be a terrorist. That's what happened last year. And when I'm talking, that's what happened in the last year. Is that Gen X fucking, we sat and were groomed for our whole lives. And again, I'm pointing out the absurdity. I'm not saying that beliefs were correct in any way. I'm pointing out the absurdity of the Python-esque fucking world we find ourselves in. Okay? I fucking wrote on Facebook, I was like, well, because I have background deafness, right? So, like that thing where if there's humming, I think it's a sensory thing with ADHD and being on the spectrum, but, like humming noises or chatter or in a restaurant and someone's talking to you, it's not deafness, it's just it's ADHD, sensory. I can't hear, so I actually didn't realize that I was subconsciously relying on lip reading, okay? So I was at the chemist picking up a script and everyone's fucking covered in masks. We've been told all our lives Even just, it's sitting here in the subconscious. Okay, that person's covering their face. We shouldn't trust them. That's a reflex. When you've been programmed for so long, even you have to fight that reflex. That is a strong, really powerful fucking thing. That's why this lizard brain hacking is so fucking insidious. This is why I fight dark patterns, because it does this to us. It rewires our brains where otherwise you go from being a kid who just played with other kids no matter what their color was because you were all fucking poor, to fucking fearing them because they might fucking be a terrorist. And that happens over the course of 30 years because they're fucking telling you that on the news. Okay? Now, then they say, well, anyone who's not covering their face might be fucking dangerous. And you go, what? Can I have a minute to process that? I made the mistake of posting that on Facebook and because I'm funny and I make observations about things. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny that I found it distressing? Isn't that an odd experience? That I found it distressing. I'm also claustrophobic, okay? Covering my face, I actually hyperventilate. That is something that I have worked on over the years. I can't fix it. It is linked to me being like assaulted where I was held down like this, okay? I can't change that reaction. And so every time we have to wear masks, okay, I can't fucking leave the house. That's just how it is. I can't do it. I'm not saying that I'm saying there's fucking complexity to these things. And I'm not saying I'm not against the masks. Again, the science is that if 98% of people are wearing the fucking thing, I should be able to not leave that. I should be able to just quickly go to the supermarket and socially distance and balance that risk. Again, upside down world. See, it's fucking weird. That's what fascism does. It creeps from the compromise of the third way. Okay? Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, this is true. We're just going to keep repeating this true thing as if it's truth. Even if people who cover their faces aren't inherently fucking dangerous, we're just going to repeat it like it's true so that people believe it's true, so that then when it stops being true, we can just anyway, it's so ridiculous. I could rant about the mask thing forever because it's fucking ridiculous. And I'm not an anti-masker. All these fucks that show up in my fucking mentions or comments, you're morons, okay? This is the thing. You're allowed to make a fucking observation about the absurdity of things, okay? You're the dummy, not me, okay? Also, the fact that I am non-binary as of today. I'm non-binary. What's the problem? Are you transphobic? That's the point. I don't do anything. Demi Lovato, what? She got a haircut. Okay, well, I'm due for one. I might cut my hair short. How's that sound? Is that a good compromise? Is that a good criteria for trending on Twitter? I could do with some fame. Apparently all the people in my mentions care about how many followers I've got. It keeps going up, mysteriously. I don't know why. Someone must have bought likes for a few bucks or something. I don't know what happened there. Anyone can do that, so who knows? Something weird's going on. Maybe they're doing it to mass report me or something, whatever. That's one thing that was true, and that wasn't even on my list. It just popped into my head before I started. The CIA is committed to social justice. You've seen my whole video. I'll link to it at the end. I'll put a card in this thing if you're on the replay. Okay. In South America, like they love the Latinas and the gays, as long as they're fucking in America, as long as they're like fighting socialism, so that they can keep saying that socialism doesn't work. Ironically, quite ironically, 2020 and 2021 are the years where people's masks are falling off. Maybe they're a terrorist. Here's another truth that was crept up on us, or fucking whatever, imposed on us piece by piece, okay, that went from fucking 1960s all the way through, right, which is that porn and prostitution are empowering. Yeah, for small amount of rich women, okay, who have agency. If you choose that, sex, all fine, okay? But that's like saying that, the opioid crisis doesn't kill anyone because there's a legal prescription and some people need it for pain. That's like, you know, and you fuck. No, there's still a problem. It's still on balance, not empowering. It can be. I'm sure in that narrow, like 0.01% of Pornhub where it's women made and women led and consensual, and she's not on drugs and she's not she's got options and chooses that job. What fucking fantasy do people live in where women choose to fucking fuck a sleazy, greasy, fat, sweaty dude? Okay? For money. What fucking backwards, upside down world does that exist where a fucking model-like woman with agency, right, has all of the options in the world and she chooses to fuck some slimy dude who might choke her? Get fucked! You're living in a fantasy. This is the gradual rationalization thing. Okay, where we are, as humans, excellent at rationalizing our own complicated choices. Because I know for me, okay, I've been in a position in my life where I sit there and I go, fuck it. This is a separate thing, but when you're online, every woman, right, or every person should go online dating at some point in their life, or at least sign up to it with obviously with their partner's consent, and just fucking see the shit that women get. Men, sign up as women. See what happens. I've been offered money for sex. I have been offered fucking money, like lots of money for some dude with a financial, like with a, what's it called? The humiliation fetish. He wanted me to turn him into a eunuch and he wanted to give me all his money. This is fucking, I got so many stories. So many stories. On their side. Anyway. But I'm just saying, right? I can understand how it's situational, okay? I get it. But can we stop bullshitting that this is fucking a choice made by, I'm sure Jamila Jamil chooses, I'm sure that she would quite happily go and be a prostitute. Or maybe she's just advocating it because she knows she's never going to be in that fucking position. Or she's whored herself and her mind out that, like me, I sat there and I went, well, I'm paid and respected so little in tech and so little in my career that I may as well suck a dick because I have to do less work and it pays better. That's the choice. But Jamila has, whored herself out so much in every other respect that maybe she sees it as not much of a fucking leap. Okay? Stop rationalizing. Most of the women who work in sex work need protection, it needs to be, I still believe in you need to protect them, okay? Black markets don't work. I agree with that. But stop deluding yourself that it is a fucking, Jesus. That's like saying, you know what? If you think that you're on the left and you're pro this stuff, if you hear yourself saying that people choose shitty jobs, you're a neoliberal, okay? People choose jobs. People don't choose that because that's just a small far cry from saying that people choose fucking like low wage jobs in America at $5 an hour plus fucking tips. They don't choose it. Fuck off. There's no choice. It's the illusion of choice. Okay? That's the thing. Stop lying. That's the thing that annoys me. It's got nothing to do with the issue and everything to do with the fucking upside down lying. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with sex work. No one's judging that. But stop lying and telling young girls that it is an empowering fucking choice. The CEO of OnlyFans was fucking largely responsible for the fucking 2008 global financial crisis. Yeah, he cares about women. And yeah, bullshit. Fuck off. Stop lying. Stop lying to people. That's all. You can do what you want to do. I'm not judging you. Like I've said this, let's, fucking be whatever. You got to get through this world. Okay, you got to survive and rationalize. We go through this world with a short amount of time and very limited fucking options for the vast majority of us. Most of us make complicated decisions and complicated choices, and often they're choices that with time we regret. But at the same time, stop lying and telling everyone else that that their choices should be your choices because you're a fucking, no, we still need to look at some structural fucking problems here. So shut the fuck up, everyone in my mentions. Ableism. Get fucked. I have progressive neuropathy. You can go fuck yourselves. Okay. Now we get to feminism is hate speech. Well, that's not new. That was under fascism. That was true too. So let's just move on from that one, shall we? Talking about how do these people not see this for what it is? Oh, but they said they're the left, so they must be. Oh, here's this list of our... Here's a new way. It's called the third way. It's called the third way. Here's our list of demands, which is that women are for sale. Your minimum wage jobs are a choice. It's a compromise. It's a compromised position. We can make you do whatever you want through the media. We want because, all the corporations love us and, the third way. We must sell this because, it's not like big oil are under heat for corporate social responsibility. And maybe we can find a way to signal that we're changing without really changing. And there's a way to make money. And we can tell all these dumb fucks about something called conscious capitalism. And that's clever. It's a third way because conscious capitalism means that it's a choice and everything's a choice. Congratulations, fuckheads. So, everything is a choice. But what we'll do is we'll narrow the choices so that women can't even fucking name themselves anymore. And anyone who tries is hate speech. Sweet. Cool. Nothing to see here, folks. On top of that, men are the better women. So on top of porn and pornography and all those things rotting the brains of men, if they decide to get F cups and fucking blow up their lips and get plastic surgery and wigs and shit and become a pornified version of everything that women have tried to fight, this is where we are. Women don't pass as women. And these men are better. All of the men want to sleep with them more than us. Yeah, they do. That's why it's happening. Because patriarchy secretly wants another man. You know when that used to be a joke? Remember when that used to be a fucking joke? All I want to do is fuck another man who's got tits. Well, there you go. Conscious capitalism. Everybody. Again, I'm not making fun of actual trans people. I'm making fun of the lovers. I'm making fun of the people who take the piss out of serious issues and have co-opted my fucking politics, okay, and think that hair dye or fucking words matter more than actions, that, power matters more than science or scientific inquiry, that you can't ask questions of science, even though science is literally designed to ask questions of fucking science 24/7. That's what science is. Scientific method is constantly fucking asking questions. But you ask questions and then provide evidence, you fuckheads. Jesus Christ. Also, apparently, genocide's fine sometimes. So if there's a rumour that China might be fucking killing people, which, again, I don't trust anything that comes from the United States. I've had someone call me out of the blue and ask me to share this thing about the Uyghurs, okay? Why'd they call me? All right? They mentioned the US military and I instantly went, nah, not fucking buying it, okay? Because anything that comes from the United States cannot be trusted, okay? It is propaganda, especially if they're approaching fucking me. And then I see Tim Pool and others fucking repeating it with uncritically. And it's like, oh yeah, okay. good job. You did well. But I rejected it. I bought it for a little bit, but then I was just like, nah, this is propaganda. They're trying to use network propaganda. Get me as part of one of their sort of bullshit share of people. Micro-influencer campaign, right? Genocide's fine if the US, if you have, what is it? The manifest destiny of the United States. You can rationalize anything. You can implode Venezuela, you can implode Chile, you can implode Guatemala, you can fuck up Russia, you can fuck up Poland, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can gradually erode Australia's welfare state and put your fucking health insurance companies you can fuck up the UK, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You own our internet, you own all our information, you own all of our fucking data. I'm on your platforms right now. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You can just randomly unperson me. But you're committed to social justice. You're trying because, you put videos out. It's cool. We're cool, right? That like she's wearing she's wearing the blazer of democracy. Fuck off. Literature professors outrank scientists. And every psychologist, up until recently, before the fucking disinformation campaign started. It's fine if you're the United States and you want something. It's fine. You can do what you want. Because if anyone points out that maybe you're a fuckhead, bully, and just trying to you're in the play, you're that kid in the playground who just sees every kid's toy and goes, I want that toy, and takes it, and everyone goes, isn't he so brave? Isn't he so assertive? Aren't we glad? The mother goes, oh, I'm so proud of little fuckface. I've been doing attachment parenting. I want to make sure that he grows up with loads of self-esteem and feels secure enough to assert himself with other kids. Your kid's a fucking bully! Fuck you! And your kid has convinced my kid that because they play with fucking trucks that they're a boy. And that if anything, that because their parents are getting a divorce and they can't process it in a mature way, they feel like they want to be called it. And they're a they and a them. I've heard someone say this. I've heard a kid say, I want to be it, because their parents are splitting up. But the solution is, oh, there must be a boy. Fucking hell. Anyway, again, I'm not saying anything. I'm just fucking looking for, when did we live here? And this is my thing about like Gen X. This is the reason I actually think that Gen X being erased is not accidental in some ways. Whereas again, I don't believe in like conspiracies. I think that there's just interests. There's no allies, only interests, right? That's a rule of international relations. Say the words right. But like Gen X, right? The reason why we're just lumped in with boomers is because it's a really convenient, and disappeared and ignored in the media. Like it's always millennials and boomers. Millennials are the ones that are, taking their rightful place in leadership positions, and we're just the boomers. We're just lumped in with the boomers, right? The reason why that happens, I believe, is because Gen X is the one generation that has lived in both worlds. And we see this bullshit for what it is. Okay. And we by writing us off as boom, because obviously boomers have gone along with a lot of this bullshit because the world has changed so rapidly in their lifetime from, my grandma's not a boomer, but like watching I think about her life from sort of, 1930s right through to now, and you go, okay, fuck, her world, like trying to figure out her computer and stuff that I think's automatic to me, she's just bewildered by, and that's normal, okay, and that's acceptable. But writing, their worlds have changed so quickly that they sort of just go, oh, well, the pressure to go, oh, well, that's the new generation now, okay? That because the boomers also grew up hating their parents, because the boomers were part of the free love generation and the hippies and all that stuff. And so I think that what happened was that a lot of boomers instinctively just went along with the millennials and went, oh, well, when we were young, we knew that we needed change. So what we're going to do is go along. Again, this is all in the subconscious. Again, like me and the mask thing. This is just the way that this lizard brain hacking works, which is that they have control over our response, right, over periods of time. It's just psychology. It sits right there in your lizard brain, and you don't even know that it's happening. And then you have this surprising fucking response, like with the panic buying. It's an out of body experience. This is social psychology. We'll move on. But the thing about boomers is that they instinctively probably listen to the younger generation, millennials, and their horse shit, okay, and a handful of Gen Xers like Butler and fuckwits like that. They've had this they don't understand the internet. They don't understand this stuff, generally speaking, on average. And so instinctively it is, let's just go along with it. Let's just go along with it, because when we were asking for change, our parents fucking ignored us. So what we're going to do is, do the opposite. I believe that that's part of it. Gen X sit here as a problem because Gen X see it for what it is, largely. Most of the people I know who are Gen X, they're either completely on the crazy train because they are desperately trying to be cool and fit in with the kids. Like, honestly, the parents of those who have a kid who's trans, you can pick it. You can pick it. It's you know what? If this was something that was genetic or organic and real, you wouldn't see it manifested in a persona. Okay, so like what advertisers do is that they target specific types of people and specific profiles, behavioral profiles, and psychology, and lifestyles, and certain neurotic people, those sorts of things. If this was something that was somewhat random, and so it might be genetic, let's not ignore that, but there's a profile. Okay, that's a good indication. Right? That's why, certain people drive Porsches, certain people drive Teslas, certain people buy Apple, certain people, this is over time. They've built profiles, and it looks like the outcome of advertising. Again, I'm not making claims. I'm saying that something real, potentially real, and, could be any number of things like chemicals or whatever. Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that from an advertiser's viewpoint, from someone who's studied user experience, from someone who's studied politics, from someone who's pretty good at spotting bullshit, okay, I can see that there is a consumer base that fits a specific profile with this thing. And, it's Coke v Sprite. Okay, it's like a brand thing, okay? That's all I'm saying, okay? Again, I'm not in a position. If what I'm saying is a problem, then the problem is bigger than me. If I can't say what I think about this stuff based on my experience, we have a really big problem. And that really does, the irony of that is that if I get banned, they're saying, yes, we are fascists. Because I'm not saying anything. I'm just having ideas here. Just fucking riffing. Anyway, got serious. Okay? But this idea that somehow science shouldn't be questioned when science is questioning, it's the whole fucking point, is to look at the study and look at the problems with it and do a better study and ask questions. That's science. If you're saying trust the science and saying don't question the science at the same time, you're a fucking fascist. Okay? Jesus Christ. Where's that quote from George Orwell I was looking at today? Hang on, let's have a look. Where are we? Where's the one on science? Doesn't matter. I forgot. Anyway, whatever. But I'm just saying, right, so the very nature of science is questioning. So if you're someone who's sitting there going, don't question my science, which is usually a gender studies paper, not a scientific paper. And usually most of the papers that I've seen, I've read most of them. Most of these clinical studies are flawed. They have small sample sizes. They have inconclusive conclusions. Those that have done research have been dogpiled, mobbed, harassed, and threatened, and fired from their positions. Again, based on history and understanding of what big tobacco did with the cancer research, and what big oil have done with climate change research, is that what they do is that they astroturf fucking studies, and they give lots of bull underneath all their fucking businesses and foundations. They offer scholarships to poor students so that they will study whatever the fuck they want, and they'll put out whatever bullshit that they want, and then they will run a disinformation campaign, and they will harass and fucking deplatform and try to silence anybody who is actually going up against them. This is a known tactic. This is what tobacco companies have done since the beginning of time, and they were proven to be wrong. It's the same thing with the asbestos company, right? Mining companies caused massive amounts of death. Those that pointed it out at the time were discredited. Those who researched it at the time, they spent a lot of spent a lot of money on trying to discredit the science of all the people that were dropping dead. Okay? War vets. came back from Iraq. Okay? That's ongoing. They're still doing that research. They're still just gaslighting them and calling it some sort of... See, idiopathic is one of those funny little things. That's what I've got at the moment. Idiopathic neuropathy. We don't know what's going on. Still going through tests, right? We don't know what the cause is. Maybe it's the CIA. I'm kidding. I have a few... I'm kidding. Half kidding. But this thing, it's like... All these people who use science as a weapon, they obviously haven't read any science. They don't know what the science is. They haven't read it in their lives. They don't know what the purpose of science is, okay? If you use the scientific method, okay, to ask questions of science, then you're doing science, okay? A gender studies paper is, yes, a good perspective, interesting, but it still needs to be tested, okay? Standpoint theory has a role to play in science, but fucking hell, it's not science. It doesn't replace science. Judith Butler, if you quote Butler in a science paper, it's not a science paper. She's a literature professor from the United States who's been fucking propped up and paid by them since fucking the beginning of time. Fuck! Gloria Steinem worked for the CIA. I don't know if you knew that. That's interesting. That's what the CIA have done over the years, is they just infiltrate the arts, okay? Anyway... Duh! Why are these things facts? Trust the science, but don't ask questions. If you cover your mouth, you're a terrorist. Unless you fucking... It's exhausting, isn't it? It's exhausting. I got no followers, so no one watches, so I'm safe. And all these little woke fucks. Like, again, they've got scrambled eggs for brains. Years of propaganda, if they're real at all. Okay? Men, do you know what I find funny is that I'm there in real life, like my face, I'm on camera and height of camera, even when I look like shit with my hanged tooth and my bad fucking angles. I don't do my hair, don't even iron my shirt, and all this stuff. I let the Aussie, come out sometimes and I fucking start going, blah, blah. Okay? I don't speak like this in meetings, by the way. I speak more like this. If I did a proper podcast with an interview, I'd behave myself a bit more. But I'm just, we're playing, okay. And then you've got some fucking person who's covered in Snapchat filters and says, you don't pass as a woman and you don't have enough followers. And you go, well, I also happen to know that you can go to a website, not that I would do such a thing, and buy, for $5 you can get a bunch of likes on a tweet. It's not, who gives a fuck? Jamila Jamil is AstroTurf. There's a whole fucking digital agency or multiple digital agencies who are funded fucking fuck tons of money to do marketing, who are also fucking sitting there buying likes and fucking retweets and engagement, okay? The word is engagement. They gave me shit. Oh, you got no engagement. Yeah, I know! Because if someone likes my shit, you'll look at their likes and cancel the fuckers. Most people can't like my shit. But do you know how many fucking messages I get? Do you know how many quiet fucking donations I get? Fuck you. There is no engagement because they're afraid. That doesn't mean anything. All it means, if you've got more engagement, that means it's safer for people to interact with you because you and your crew have made it unpleasant. And people got to eat because billionaires got a billionaire. So good luck supporting the billionaires, okay? Enjoy your Snapchat filters. I'd like to see a fucking real face-for-face passing test, fuckhead. I'm sorry for my trans friends. I'm just, you get me now. I don't mean it. I'm just talking to that person. And that's another rant that I did yesterday. Apparently you're not allowed to attack the behaviour anymore without people's fucking qualities, being the thing. That trans person is attacking me and I called him a cunt. But apparently that's transphobia now. Apparently criticising the fact that Israel are fucking bombing children and a neuro fucking surgeon and a children's hospital makes me a fucking anti-Semite. That's bullshit. I work with Jews. Fuck off. Not true. Okay? Fuck off. That's a weapon. You know that thing where it's like Animal Farm? If you've read Animal Farm. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're heading into very dangerous territory right now. Okay. I'm warning you. This is not intended to make light of what happened. Again, you can talk about the behavior without making a joke of the fucking event. Okay, I'm not making fun of the event. However, there's people who use the Holocaust, much like in Animal Farm, when they said, "Oh, you don't want John back, do you?" Every time, and then they went, "No, we don't want John back. We don't want John back. God, can't have that happen again. We don't want John back." Well, then you'd better get back to it and stop doing that, asking questions then. You don't want John back. It's like, yeah, no, there's a point where that becomes a fucking empty threat, and it's almost there, okay? When you're attacking people whose parents actually fucking went, like, through these things to win, you can't use these things to win arguments, especially when it's not even the fucking point. The point is that the United States is providing bombs to fucking Israel to kill fucking people. All right, that's another thing. I'd like to tell you the story one time about when I woke. I was in a coma for 6 days, as you do. Okay, and I saw. Do you know what I find funny? I'm going to fucking digress again. Do you know what's weird? Is that all of these little fucks, the pronoun fucks that showed up in my mentions, right? They're sitting there calling me a piece of shit, ableist piece of shit, racist piece of shit, transphobic piece of shit. And you go, well, hang on, but you're picking on me and I'm disabled. And they go, yeah, you don't fucking count. I went, okay. So you're saying when you ask me if I think disabled people don't count, fucking hell. We're an upside down world. Also, you're a child. I'm an adult. Shut the fuck up, idiot. This ideology is poison. It's so poison. Seriously. Your logic. Oh, what about, you're a transphobe. No, I'm not. I'm protecting trans people from you co-opting and colonising their fucking genuine fight and cause. You're fighting to demedicalise their fucking stuff when trans healthcare is a major fucking concern. Especially mental health services. You're eroding every fucking attempt to actually get to the root cause of some of these problems and a bunch of really good-hearted psychotherapists who are not transphobic but understand that major surgery and many expensive surgeries and ongoing hormones should be a last fucking resort and that you should consider other things first. It's not conversion therapy. It's good therapy. You're the ones who are actually hurting people. Okay, and I'm defending them. So you call me transphobic one more time and I will fucking, that's it. The gloves will be off and I will just get myself banned because it is horseshit. It's absolute horseshit because I have trans friends whose fucking healthcare has, first of all, they can't get appointments because you fucking dumb non-binary fucks are hogging up all their fucking appointments. Second of all, they can't get taken seriously anymore because everyone's made this thing a fucking joke. With your LARPing and fucking harassment. If you just said, hey, can we use your toilets and we respect your space, most women would go, cool. But no, fuck. The threats. If you have to threaten your way, you have no argument. Okay? If you have to threaten someone to fucking go along with what you've got to say or go along with your behavior, then you're a fucking bully and you have no compelling argument or compelling alternative. And it's the same thing with bombs as it is with fucking anything. If you're bullying people into listening to you or taking you seriously, and that's out of fear, not out of genuine fucking, you can't force people to love you. You can't bully people into loving you. That's just a fact. Okay? You can't, the people who, these niggers, the fucking pickup artists, that works on a certain portion of women, sure. Women with low self-esteem and, ultimately if you have to neg someone or manipulate someone into fucking you, what? That's not a good relationship. That's awful. That's abusive for a start. But second of all, what's missing in you that having a thing that hates, with using a prostitute, right? Again, there's multiple uses, but I'm just saying in a general sense, what do you get out of someone who doesn't really, that means you're probably an avoidant, you probably don't like intimacy and what the fuck? I think you should work on yourself. This is why the war on fucking psychology and therapy. Because, unfortunately, the truth is hard. It's easier to buy these bullshit fucking upside down laws and everyone just be bullied into going along with it than it is for you to get some loving, supportive, this comes back to religion, which is that non-judgmental. It's okay to not to be pushed a little bit. Okay? It makes you better. There's some nudging that's good. With a trained psychologist who understands the responsibility with consent. That's the thing, right? That's the thing about this technology and this propaganda, is that it's largely done without our consent. As a psychologist, well, I'm not a psychologist now, but you can't say that. But, psychologists have an ethical framework. They can't do these things. They can't experiment on people without their consent. They can't do this stuff. How the fuck Facebook is allowed to do psychological experiments and with how these psychologists don't get fucking deregistered is absolutely gobsmacking to me. It is such an ethical violation to be experimenting constantly on people without their consent. Even as a user experience person, I have always drawn a line with ethics because I take these things seriously. I take consent seriously. And, I take that relationship and responsibility seriously. And money is this is all American bullshit. Again, our countries are complicit in this, but again, we have no alternative. We're all reliant on the US dollar. We're all reliant on their fucking, on tech. We're all reliant on everything. We can't afford to have America fail. We can't afford, the irony about America having to bail out their banks because they can't afford for the banks to fail. That's how the rest of the world feels about America, which is that we have to be invested in this. We have to try and talk to you and appeal to your common sense and try to get you to see things a bit more clearly, because we can't afford for you to go into fascism and take us all down with you. That's the reality. And this is tough love stuff. This isn't America hate. This is a deep love for Americans because we want what's best for you. And it's not that, paternal best for you. We want better for you. We want you to see that there is no third way, really. Okay? There's Keynesian economics and there's various other things. And again, we can have that conversation, but we need to be able to have the conversation. Okay? America has no moral authority. They have no legal authority in most cases. In most cases, they're committing war crimes. And the only reason nobody says it is because they'll fucking rain hellfire down on anyone who tries. But, this needs to stop. All of this shit needs to stop because we're in fucking upside down world. Okay? I'm in down under. I am fucking confused. Because we're upside down. And I'm in upside down world. So does that mean I'm the right way up now and this is actually reality? Like fucking hell. And pedophilia is an orientation. That's new. We need to stop that too. Fucking kids not okay. It's not acceptable. And the number of times I've thought about going back to CP work just to stop this insidious creep. And because we can't say it because somehow, the fact that pedophiles exist or creeps exist isn't allowed to be, it's impolite to say so. It's to who? Impolite. Okay? Impolite to say so. No, it's the truth, which is that this is maybe why, again, Gen X's thing, right? Where we would be out in public or as a teenage girl. Every single Gen X woman that I know has been flashed or followed home, or again, this is millennials as well. Any woman really has been followed home or made to feel uncomfortable or catcalled, right? This is the thing, right? Which is that, I say this is the thing all the time. I need a verbal tip. I'll get better. But when did that stop being a thing? When did creep stop being a thing? When fucking flashes and pervs become a thing? Now, perfectly acceptable. Now, the woman who has a problem with the guy with his dick out is kink shaming. And if he identifies as a woman while the police show up, if they show up, which they don't, okay? Because it's so common, because these interactions are so common and it is so pervasive that they don't have the resources to even come out anymore. Okay? That's you know, like it's just so fucking acceptable. And this is the banality of evil. This is again, that creep, so to speak. Okay. Which is that it's like, well, what about I'm not naively saying we should all have to be able to walk in the park at night on our own. Obviously, we've got to be able to be safe because creeps exist. But what are we doing to our daughters if we're not acknowledging that fucking creeps and pervs exist? And that somehow that, if she's in a situation where a dude is masturbating right next to her, she could be fucking attacked. And society is giving these young girls these young guys permission to assault this girl because he's masturbating next to her because she's kink shaming. And if she goes to her friends, they will say the same thing and he can get off scot-free. That is, again, this doesn't actually overtly happen. It happens sometimes. You see glimmers of it on Twitter. Okay. But again, it goes back to the mask thing. The heuristic that we build in our fucking heads here, okay, it's turning off our danger detectors. It's turning off our fucking senses. It's turning off everything. It's turning off our boundaries. Okay? It's got nothing to do with the debate, nothing to do with the political arguments about anything. That's an excuse. Okay? They've somehow managed to create a system where, if not, maybe that's 2022. Shall we update then? If I still have an account, if I'm still allowed to speak. Or if someone hasn't joined my top tier Patreon account, which is $1.5 million a month to shut me up. You can pay, you get a 15% discount if you buy yearly. It's good to know. If you're looking to save money, buy yearly. But I'm saying, should we check in 2022 for these the Tinder date murders, for when that happens, or a Tinder rape, okay, where a woman, again, I can take on the argument that someone's, I can take on the argument that someone's trans status is independent from the crime, okay? I can get that. I understand the argument, and I largely agree with you. But that's whitewashing a real fucking truth. Again, it's that comfortable lie versus fucking actually facing the reality. You can't do policy without reality. You have to be based on data and facts and risk. Good policy mitigates real risk. It doesn't put fucking, comfortable lies all on top of everything. It doesn't put fucking rainbow stickers and colours all over everything. You've got to face the truth. Okay, which is that it's not an implausible scenario that women in a fucking nightclub situation will be raped on a fucking nightclub floor by some dude and nobody does a thing and nobody is to blame and she is to blame because that guy has a fetish. Then he goes to the police and says that he's a she, and the paper goes along with it. And Twitter goes along with it, and all these fucks that showed up in my mentions the other day bully anybody like me who says, hey, this girl was raped on the floor of a nightclub and 100 people did fuck all. That's 2022 based on where we are at 2021 if we don't start fucking doing something. Okay? Again, I'm wrapping this in like comedy riffing, okay? Comedy can have a message. I'm coming from that place, okay? But fuck. All right? We're in the upside down world and we're headed fucking this is fascism. And just because fascists say, well, I'm not fascist, doesn't mean they're not fascist. They're just saying they're not. Seriously, again, in history, the third way was what they called early fascism. And again, I'm not linking it. I'm just saying it's uncanny. It's uncanny that this constant chipping away and constant compromising and constant intolerance for difference and constant just programming of our lizard brains, which I know they're doing. Again, that's just based. That's not. I'm not saying they're doing. That sounds fucking. I'm saying based on my fucking job. Okay, your job is to work with the unconscious. Okay, we're programming the unconscious to throw our boundaries away, to fucking dispute our senses, to ignore fucking science, and only trust the like approved and published science that's acceptable in the mainstream United States press, that's fed to us via Twitter, who tells us that Demi Lovato being non-binary is the most important thing that's happening today of all of the things in the world. It's very important. And that whatever the fuck on The Bachelor and fucking Dogecoin, yeah, I care. I like Dogecoin. Dogecoin's cool. Not the most important thing happening today. Markets are dropping left, right, and centre. Hedge funds are buying up all the fucking houses. The economy's, all of the banks and everyone are fucking, getting rid of all their stock. Everyone's selling. All of the 1% are fucking getting rid of all their stock right now and fucking crypto and hiding it in offshore accounts. But Demi Lovato is non-binary. I'm very happy for them. Okay, I will respect their choices because the individual is not the issue. Okay, you can talk about all of these issues without it being about the individual. I'm talking about the absurdity that we find ourselves in. We have to look at the macro. We're fucking focused on the micro all the time. It's like fucking shuffling deck. I've used this metaphor before. You're fucking shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic and you're both arguing about whether the red chairs or the blue chairs are fucking heavier or not. And who's got the fucking easier job of lifting the chairs? It's like fucking hell, the Titanic's sinking, dickheads. It doesn't matter. Just just leave the chairs and get off the fucking boat, you idiots. Oh my God. My fucking God. Anyway, I've been looking at the chat. Did I freeze? Someone said frozen. Please tell me that's not the case. Oh well. Chats are quiet. Maybe I lost my stream and I was going really well. That's a shame. If I have, then I'll record. I've got a recording, so I'll upload it. I'll check. Anyway. On that note, that was a bit ranty. Don't be a fuckwit. Okay? Fucking zoom out, everyone. Zoom out. Zoom out. I haven't lost my mind. Okay? I just have perspective. Because I realised, okay, that I have been gaslit for 20 years. Okay? I have a politics degree. I studied Marx. And I fell for this third way nonsense. Compromise. Conscious capitalism. Because it's a choice. It's a choice. Within capitalism, it's a choice. So long as you do what we say, you've got a choice. So long as you choose, A or B, we won't bomb you. If you choose capitalism, we won't drop bombs on you. If you go against our occupation, then, of course, we're going to bomb you because, you had a choice. You had to go along with it. But you have a choice. You had to go. If you didn't go, you have a choice. If you didn't go along with it, you had the choice of not going along with it and not going along with it. You knew the consequences. It's a choice. You have no prospects. You have $100,000 of student debt. You want to get an education to better your life. Your parents don't have the money. So, you got a choice. You can work at McDonald's for fucking $5 an hour plus tips, or you work at Hooters and get, leered, by men and harassed by men for tips as well. Or you can just may as well take the next step and earn $1,000 a go, or 250, whatever the going rate is. The average prostitute they earn about like $150, I think, per go, depending on what they do. It's not high-end shit. Okay, don't believe those people on Twitter. Set up an OnlyFans. Your choices. The former risk manager of Lehman Brothers, he made good choices. He made choices and he made the decision to hustle. He overcame adversity and he hustled to make OnlyFans. So you could have choices too. What are you talking about? What are you complaining for? If you complain, we'll just kick you off YouTube, no problem. You had a choice. You had a choice. You could not talk about the things that are true. You definitely got a choice. You can not, you could like my tweets and get an army of fucking harassment and potentially someone contacting your boss. Okay. I had 2 calls to my phone number when I fucking called them, right? Called them on it. Dumb fucks thought that they were actually calling my HR department. Right? I'm saying, what if they call my husband's employer? What if they call, well, I don't give a fuck, but what if they call, anyone who likes my tweets? What if they call them? What if, that's why the people don't interact. Because you're a mob of bullies, dickhead. And the people who like your tweets largely leave you alone. And no matter what you say, I've never once seen a fucking radfem threaten violence towards anyone. Okay? I've never seen it. The worst thing that anyone's ever done is make a fucking joke. Or tell you to fuck off. That's not bullying. Or call you dude. Apparently you get banned for saying dude. So that's misgendering. So next time someone calls me dude, I'm non-binary. No one asked me. None of them. See, that's what I find interesting. Is that because they're not in my bio, they didn't ask. But I got more fucking points than them. I am non-binary. You can't dispute that. You're gonna question it? Good luck. You can't. I've got a choice. So I've got choices. So what I've got is a choice to fight this thing or a choice to go along with it. Well, it's the law. So I'm non-binary then. That makes me under the trans umbrella, which means anything that you do is now hate speech according to your fucking rules. So good luck. Call my HR department. Malicious compliance is a wonderful thing. That's the rules. The Royal College of fucking Psychiatrists says that agender and non-binary are under the trans umbrella, so I'm trans. You can't you're transphobic if you attack me. There you go. Your move, bitches. I'm going to go. Thank you. I think I may have lost people, but if not, I will upload this, and I love you. I'll watch it back, check to see how long it's gone. If not, it's all cool. I may be back tomorrow. Thank you. I think this one might need some clips because I went off a bit. We'll see if they landed or not. Because these clips can, if I do any of the clips that I'd like to do, they probably get me cancelled. So it's like, it's better if it's buried. But anyway, I love you. Share my videos. Share this thing because it was fun. I think if you want to get some shit off your chest, you can share this shit and people can quietly watch it. And feel like they're not alone. Okay? Where's that George Orwell quote? Right. What is it? To know and not know. Where is it? I want to read it. Hang on. I can't see the... Hang on. To know and not know. To be conscious of complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies. To hold simultaneously 2 opinions which cancelled out, knowing them to be contradictory and believing in both of them, to use logic against logic, to repudiate morality while laying claim to it, to believe that democracy was impossible and that the party was the guardian of democracy, to forget whatever it was necessary to forget, then to draw it back into memory again at the moment when it was needed, and then promptly to forget it again, and above all, to apply the same process to the process itself. That was the ultimate subtlety. Consciously to induce unconsciousness, and then once again to become unconscious of the act of hypnosis you had just performed. Even to understand the word doublethink involved the use of doublethink. I love that quote. So many great George Orwell quotes, but that's a really, that's from 1984. Do get the audiobook of 1984 or book if you can, but refresh yourself on these things. Anyway, I'm going to go. I love you very much. Again, this is comedy, intended to be comedy riffs. Serious moments come out, but that's what, these things do. It's just, riffing for the moment. This is a live stream. I say things and I promptly forget them. All these things. I love everybody. I want everyone to live in peace and I want everyone to be free. I want everyone to be happy. Okay? That's the thing. So, it's another one. I'll do it another time about happiness. Oh, that's Aldous Huxley, isn't it? That one. Listen to this one. Listen to this.
Okay, I haven't got the actual quote, but isn't there something in living dangerously? There's a great deal in it, the controller replied. Men and women must have their adrenals stimulated from time to time. What? Questioned the savage, uncomprehending. It's one of the conditions of perfect health. That's why we've made the VPS treatment compulsory. VPS? Violent passion surrogate. Regularly once a month, we flood the whole system with adrenaline. It's the complete physiological equivalent of fear and rage. All the tonic effects of murdering Desdemona and being murdered by Othello without any of the inconvenience. But I like the inconveniences. We don't, said the controller. We prefer to do things comfortably. But I don't want comfort. I want God. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want freedom. I want goodness. And I want sin. In fact, said Mustafa Mond, you're claiming the right to be unhappy, not to mention the right to grow old and ugly and impotent, the right to have syphilis and cancer, the right to have too little to eat, the right to be lousy, the right to live in constant apprehension of what may happen tomorrow, the right to catch typhoid, the right to be tortured by unspeakable pains of every kind. There was a long silence. I claim them all, said the savage at last. It's moving, isn't it? Mustafa Mond shrugged his shoulders. You're welcome, he said. I love that quote. People really need to sort of reacquaint themselves with some text. I'm going to start reading more quotes that seem to, whatever. But anyway, I love you. Brave New World's a quick read. Read that. Love you. Thank you for your precious life seconds. I'll be back tomorrow, I think, maybe. Every day is dependent on how I feel at the moment. But we'll play it by ear. Please be safe. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. It's Isaac Butterfield joke. All right, I love you. Where's my phone? I love you, bye. Let's find this thing. Oh, if you want to support me, you can go to my website. I'm doing a new website, and it's going to be a lot simpler and streamlined, and I'm combining the business and personal and various other things. So I'm doing a big content audit. Things will be easier to find, and I'll be writing more. So I love you. Be well, okay? And I want nothing but America. I want nothing but love in America, and I hope they make it. I hope you make it. I genuinely hope so. Bye.